Please welcome to the stage, Jane Lynch.
Wow. Hi, everybody. Hello, hello. Well, thank you. My gosh, that is quite an introduction. So anyway, I want you to picture this with me, if you will. You're at a dinner table, and the people you love most in the world are right there. They're laughing, telling stories, being their wonderful, chaotic selves. And you're there too. You're physically present. You're smiling on cue, laughing a beat late. You're nodding. God, you're nodding so much. And you're disappearing. Not from the table, from the conversation, from the actual experience of being with the people you showed up to be with. And that is what untreated hearing loss does to a person. And I've watched it happen up close over the years to someone I loved a lot. And then I watched it start to happen with me. So it started with my dad, Frank Lynch. There he is. Where do I even begin with this guy? He's always has joy in his heart, a song on his lips, a song that he would sing spontaneously, joyfully, with complete commitment and zero self-consciousness. And this apple does not fall far from that tree. He was generous, he was kind, he loved life with an enthusiasm that as a teenager I found both embarrassing and completely wonderful as an adult. But his pride and his joy, however, and I think maybe a lot of you can relate with this when it comes to your dad, his pride and joy was his lawn. That grass was lush. It was green, it was immaculate, and only he was permitted to mow it because he wanted it done right in precise angles. So he was the kind of guy who found delight in simple things. His lawn, a good song, his family gathered around a table, and then slowly, almost imperceptibly, something shifted. Television got louder, then louder still. At family dinners, you'd have to repeat yourself and then repeat yourself again. I remember one Christmas, my mom was complaining that she didn't know how to pop the trunk, and she had to get out the car manual, and my dad said, "The what?" And she said, "The car manual," and he said, "The what?" And she said, "The car manual," and he said, "The star of a manual?" And we laughed. He laughed, just a half a beat behind. He was there, but he was not there. And when anyone would gently mention hearing aids, "Oh, I don't need one of those, it's not that bad," he didn't want people to see a contraption in his ear. He didn't want to appear vulnerable and weak, or worse, disabled. And of course, while he was denying the problem, his hearing loss became more and more profound and more debilitating. And then, fast forward, because the universe has a sense of humor, it began to happen to me. And I think you could probably relate with it. I started noticing it in restaurants. Background noise was getting in the way, other conversations started bleeding in. Background music sounded more like noise than music, and man, I am working. I'm leaning forward, I'm asking people to repeat themselves, reconstructing sentences from context cues like I'm in a very low-stake game show. So I got my hearing tested, and the verdict, moderate hearing loss in the left ear. So sitting in that audiologist's office, holding my little audiogram printout, I knew I had a choice. I could follow my dad's script and minimize it, file it under, "Hey, everything's fine," or I could do something different. So I chose to do something different. And not because I'm fearless, because I'm not, and not because I'm above vanity, because I am extremely not above vanity, but because I watched where the other road goes, and I stopped pretending the problem wasn't there. Now, here's what I found on the other side of that decision. Relief. It turns out that when you face a thing, it's almost always easier than dreading a thing. So getting help for hearing loss is not a surrender. It's simply an announcement that you are old, diminished, and done. Just kidding. It's a clear-eyed, self-possessed move, and it says, "I know what's happening, and I refuse to disappear." So I was introduced to a pair of Nuance Audio Glasses, the very fashionable eyeglasses that had a hearing aid and speakers built right into the arms of the frame. So I charged them up, I put them on, I looked in the mirror, and I thought, I look adorable. And I want to be very clear about this. The adorable part matters. Then I went about configuring them to my specific needs, and that very same night, I went to a restaurant with a bunch of pals. And oh my gosh. So we're at a big round table, and I could hear people from every single position at the table. There was background music playing, and here's the thing, I was enjoying it. It wasn't noise anymore, it was music. And I was still catching every word of the conversation. And then came our server, a soft talker. Now, normally a soft talker sends me into a low-grade spiral. I'm leaning forward, I'm sweating a little bit, I'm piecing together syllables like a detective at a crime scene. But that night, I heard every word. My friend Janice at the table asked me about the glasses. She tried them on right there and then. She looked adorable too. It's my friend Janice. And she said to me the whole night, she kept saying, game changer, game changer, game changer. So I gave her my Nuance Audio Glasses, and I got myself a second pair. And my spouse, who did not have a hearing problem that she knew of, tried on the new pair. She looked adorable. We went to a party that night, and she could hear everybody. The glasses, of course, became hers immediately without negotiation. So I got a third pair, and these are them. Got them on my face right now. So 3 pairs of Nuance glasses, 3 stories with happy endings, a solution found for hearing loss, and equally important, adorability. So the people around your table want you fully there. Do not go gentle into that good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Or at least get your hearing sorted, you know? So go fully present and go adorable, or go home. Thank you very much.